Welcome back everyone to another episode of Vegetarian Cooking with JJ. In this week's episode we're going to be making a very simple and delicious vegan dessert, a vegan cheesecake. It is so simple that pretty much anyone can make it. It's pretty much foolproof. So let's get started in our kitchen and whip things up. Here it is, our delicious vegan cheesecake. I'm adding 3 cups of cashews to this bowl. And we're going to want to cover them with water and let them soak. I'm going to soak them overnight and pop them in the fridge. One thing that's very important for this recipe is the springform pan. The bottom detaches from the sides with this little clip here. I have lined the bottom with the parchment paper so that it's easier to get the cake out fully once it's all ready to go. So lining the bottom, you can either use parchment paper or just saran wrap, and that will work. Just reassemble this here. You need a flat surface to do that. You will also need a trusty food processor as well. Back in the day when I didn't have the food processor, I admittedly did things in a caveman way, but this recipe is quite difficult if you don't have the food processor, so that is key. If you're interested to make this recipe and you do not have a food processor, I would suggest going to family members or friends to try it out. Maybe you can do the recipe together. It's pretty simple, so it doesn't really require much teamwork, but you know, it can be a bonding activity too. So to start off, we have our 2 cups of almonds. And just put them in the food processor. And I mentioned this before about the dates, that you must split them open and check to see if there's any little bugs. That may not be the case, but it's better to be safe than to be sorry. I got the pre-pitted dates, but I still check the inside anyway to see if there's anything out of the ordinary. We don't want to deal with that. We have a total of 6 dates. They're already split apart. We'll just put them in any old fashion. And I just have 1 tablespoon of our water and our agave over here. We're going to put a total of 2 tablespoons of agave. I'm wearing my T-Rex shirt. Got hugs. I designed it, if anyone's interested. And I have a ½ teaspoon of our Himalayan pink salt, my favorite salt to use. I got hooked on it at GBC in class. So simply put on our lid. Now for the fun part. Some of you may have stopped to wonder, where did cheesecake originate? And then some of you may be thinking, well, it came from England, of course. It must be English. Well, like a lot of English words, this dessert also has Greek roots. Way back in the 5th century BCE, a physician by the name of Agamos created a book entitled The Art of Making Cheesecake. In ancient Greek, it was entitled Takotopikon Sigrama. So this is the messy part. I'm going to get some of this mixture out. And we're going to want to spread it around, and we're going to be pressing it in. Yes, it will all stick together. The dates and agave is quite sticky. Oops. Damn. I just want to spread the whole big chunk of it evenly before I start pressing down. Because once you press down hard, it will be hard to move around. So now we give it a nice press. You'll just have to wash your sticky hands. It's all in the fun. It'll be worth getting your hands messy. Squish. Now I'll just have to wash our food processor so we can get the filling ready. For the filling, our cashews have been drained. They were soaking overnight, but you can soak them simply for 3 hours. That should be fine. Of course, the longer you soak them, the softer and smoother the consistency of the filling is going to be. Also, your blender plays a part in that as well. And we're going to get a cup of coconut oil, yes. So it's not a low-fat, it's not a low-fat recipe. But you won't be eating the whole cake either. At least we hope you won't be, but you do you. It also calls for 1 cup for the agave. I'm going to do it a little bit less than 1 cup. Probably the 3/4 mark will be fine. So that's about 3/4 cup. Just because I find this recipe is on the sweet side, the original recipe. So I'm just going to reduce that sweetness just a little bit. But if you're a crazy sweet tooth person, go ahead. This should be enough in my opinion. And we'll see how it blends together. You can always add more if necessary, but I don't think it will be necessary. We're going to want to zest 1 whole lemon, so I picked the prettiest one here to use. And this will take some time. I have my trusty microplane here. So it involves a lot of patience, really. We're gonna do the whole entire peel. And then afterwards we'll get the juice. I find it more difficult when you juice it first and then it's more mushy. At least this way it has more shape to it to be able to do that. I wanted a combination of the superfine lemon zest and the zest that was simply finely chopped. The reasons were for aesthetics, taste, and texture. Of course, it's faster to chop as well. So we have all these lemons here, and we're gonna get the juice out of them, and we're gonna get 1 cup's worth of lemon juice. So we'll just slice them all in half. My other cups are occupied, that's why I'm using a 1/4 cup and a 3/4 cup. 3/4 cup and 1/4 cup, which equals 1 cup. So we'll simply pour in our cashews. Try to get them in our food processor. We'll pour in the full cup of the lemon juice. There we go. And then we have our agave that we'll pour in. We have our zest. I'm going to put in half of it and then save a little bit for the topping. Our coconut oil. And I have a 1/4 cup of water here that we'll use, but I'm going to blend this up first and kind of gradually add it in. Ready? It does have some lumps to it. However, I'm not going to be anal personally. Like I said, it also depends on the blender as well. So we're going to very carefully pour it in, and we're going to spread it evenly. So I'm going to put the lemon zest on top now. In the end, I'm going to add berries. And this is going to go into the freezer overnight. And then once it's ready to go, we can top it with our berries or any other garnish that you wish you think that would go well. Use your imagination. Carefully put it in. It's as simple as that. Close the door. You're gonna wanna run the knife along the edge so we get a clean break. Make sure it's fully defrosted. That will take a few hours. Here we have it. We're ready to top it. Just adding our blueberries here. You can add them any way you prefer. You can make your own fun design. We have these pumpkin spice coconut chips, which I think would be pretty cool. Devilishly good. Ta-da! Get to try this deliciousness. First bite. A nice, easy vegan dessert. I'm sure you'll enjoy making it and eating it. So remember, if you liked this video, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to my channel, comment below, let me know if you tried this recipe, or if you're planning on trying it. I'll be sharing a new recipe every Monday, so stay tuned. Until next time, bon appetit. Have your cake and eat it too. Marcus Porcius Cato, aka Cato the Censor, was a Roman soldier, senator, and historian. He wrote a variety of historical bits, which included a mishmash of things, even recipes. He was a conservative and opposed Hellenization. In his writings, he included a recipe for cheesecake. This was the first known written recipe for cheesecake. Oddly, the name for cheesecake in Latin was placenta, which is quite awkward to refer to. This cake, along with a couple of others, were used for religious purposes by the Romans at that time.